live from Studio B. We continue our lead up to BYU football camp with our opponent previews. And today we focus in on in-state rival Utah State, whom the Cougars will face on October 1st. To preview the Aggies, we are joined by the co-host of the Hans and Scotty G show on the Zone Sports Network and the play-by-play voice of the Utah State Aggies, Scott Garrard. Scotty, nice to have you back on the show. How are you?
My two favorite dudes on the planet. Gentlemen, always good to catch up. How are you?
I don't even care if you're telling the truth. I like it. That's great. You went to a Guster concert in Colorado over the weekend. I love that. We both like Guster. We've gone to Guster together. That's awesome.
Yeah, a huge fan. And they were at Red Rocks, so I'm coming to you live from Denver. But seeing Guster at Red Rocks is something I couldn't pass up. So my wife and I did a quick flight over here, and it was worth the rainstorm. It was worth the bad weather, but it was awesome. Loved it.
Hard-working man, but you got to fit in a concert or two, that's for sure. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're running out of days for vacationing in the summer because college football is right around the corner, and you have a new era of Utah State football beginning under a new head coach, Blake Anderson. So what do you know at this point about the new Utah State coaching staff and the impression that they have given you?
All energy, all excitement. It's a breath of fresh air here at Utah State. And, no disrespect to Gary Anderson, but I think Gary was at a point in his career where he kind of felt like things were probably winding down. And you could tell when last year in the middle of the season, he decided to step away from the Utah State program. This was a team this was the year that they were supposed to be really, really good. I think for the last few years, we've been pointing to this season. And recruiting just didn't quite pan out the way that a lot of people had hoped. An attrition from the program had certainly hurt this team. And so they're building from the ground up. This is a great staff, great excitement, great energy, great focus. They've re-energized the recruiting. They brought in a ton of P5 transfers through the transfer portal to try to boost the talent level on this team. And so it's been an exciting time here at Utah State as it feels like things are starting to turn back in the right direction.
You mentioned those Power 5 transfers. That's awesome. And then, of course, Arkansas State guys who have followed Coach Anderson to Logan. You talk about Logan Bonner at quarterback, perhaps the guy to beat there. We'll see. And then Justin Rice on the defensive side. Are those guys expected to start and have a massive impact?
Justin Rice certainly is going to be the most dynamic defensive player on this team as of right now. Last year at this time was the Mountain West Conference preseason Defensive Player of the Year for Fresno State. And then the Mountain West decided they weren't going to play football. So he jumps to Arkansas State so he can play a season. And then the Mountain West does decide to play. So he ends up traveling back to the Mountain West with Blake Anderson. So an interesting trip for him, but he's a dynamic, awesome player. He'll be great for this defense. On the offensive side, frankly, I know that they'll say they'll have a competition, but I'd be really, really surprised if Logan Bonner is not the starter at quarterback for week one. I anticipate they'll make that announcement pretty quick in fall camp. Because he seems like he's the guy. They trust him with this offense. He's ran this offense. So I would be shocked if he's not your week one starter.
Who is the best player on Utah State's football roster right now? I think I know the answer because the Aggies feature one of the most dynamic playmakers in the return game, but maybe your opinion is different. So who's the best player right now?
Well, you're leading to Devin Tompkins, Savon Scarver. I think those are your two offensive players. Savon Scarver is great in the return game and is a, All-American on the return side and has done dramatic things. He needs to be better as a wide receiver. He just can't be a return man. He's got to be a better wide receiver and help out this team. And that's his focus. And I think that's what they're really working with him. Devin Tompkins is probably your most all-around dynamic offensive player. But honestly, let's go back to Justin Rice. I probably think he's your best player that will have the biggest impact on his on that side of the ball than anybody else for Utah State this year.
What are the expectations in year one? Is it approximate a bowl, go to a bowl, and then build from there? And how long will fans in Logan give Anderson and his staff to kind of be competitive in the Mountain West?
Well, this is, as far as the Mountain West Conference rotation schedule goes, this is the easiest schedule that they'll have in their 4-year rotation. They get Wyoming at home, Colorado State at home, Boise at home. They drop off Fresno State, San Diego State, Nevada. So you don't have to play those 3 teams. And you pick up Hawaii, you pick up UNLV, and you pick up San Jose State, who shockingly is now good again. But overall, this is an easier schedule. Your only P5 team is Washington State on the road. They have New Mexico State and an FCS opponent. So honestly, even though there's a lot of gloom and doom around the Utah State program, the schedule, if they can get some consistent play out of the quarterback spot, and defensively, if they can improve, I don't think 6-6 is out of the question here. I think a bowl game is a realistic expectation for this team this year.
Scott Garrard, the voice of the Utah State Aggies, with us on BYU Sports Nation. BYU and Utah State is always a fun build-up to that rivalry game, Friday Night Lights. It's been a thing that's been happening for a while. How would you define the state of the rivalry from the Aggie fan perspective as they look at BYU?
Well, I think if you're an Aggie fan, you're a little disappointed because Utah State won, back-to-back games for the first time in forever. And it kind of felt like things had evened up a little bit. But over the last 2 years, obviously it swung right back to BYU's favor. BYU's been the most dominant team easily. And frankly, had they played last year, it probably would have been really ugly considering what BYU had and what Utah State was going through. So, you could kind of pencil in potentially three straight losses to BYU. So yeah, BYU's certainly got the upper hand. Utah State fans are probably a little salty about it. But I think that Utah State's proven that if they can recruit well, if they can build up the talent level, that they can compete. I think Matt Wells and that previous staff proved that you can compete with BYU. You're not going to win every single game, and you're not going to win 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6. But if you can keep it as close to a 50-50 split, that's a huge success for Utah State, considering how the imbalance of power has been over the last 20 years between these two teams.
Scott, let's take a victory lap mutually together. Sam Merrill and Elijah Bryant, NBA champs.
There you go.
Top two highest paid inside linebackers in the game, Fred Warner and Bobby Wagner. Hey, there's a little thing going on right now with BYU and Utah State.
That's what I'm saying. Let's who needs the Big 12? Let's the two of these guys pair off, form their own conference, and they'll be the foundations of whatever they want to build. Let's go. It's the conference of the pros for sure.
The Rocky Mountain States Conference should come back when we were all together, like the Colorado School of Mines and the Colorado School of Teachers or whatever in the 30s. Let's bring it back, baby.
Let's go.
Scott, great to catch up with you, man. Safe travels back from Denver. We'll talk more music and football soon. Thanks.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Scott Garrard, voice of Utah State football on BYU Sports.
I love Scott. He's great. Scott and Hans, they're fantastic.